From Hollywood, welcome to Starlight Mystery Theater and another episode in the series, Mathew Slade, Private Investigator. We invite you to take your seat as Mathew Slade unfolds Who Killed My Pen Pal?
In my job, the hours are odd. So are the circumstances and the people I meet. You could even call some of them dangerous. My calling card reads, Mathew Slade, Private Investigator. I didn't know what time it was. I hoped that it was later than I thought. I was angry enough to kill. I glanced at my watch, cursed silently. 9 a.m. An hour to go. An hour before...
Plain time. Mm-hmm. Then the deserving Sergeant Sid Dinelli, little old me, flies off into the wild blue. Hollywood, Hawaii...
Look, will you shut up?
Huh?
Buddy, pal, friend. You get me up at dawn. You drag me to the office so that I can toast your trip from my liquor cabinet.
Oh, yeah, I should have got a later flight, Matt. It's too early to drink.
And for 2 hours, you've talked about this great vacation you're going to take, rubbing it in that I have to stay here and work. Well, bon voyage. I think I have an appointment.
Oh?
Jonesy, do I have an appointment?
No. But Matt, there is someone here to see you, Miss Paulette Van Breck.
Paulette Van Breck. Beautiful, blonde.
Not exactly.
Now, never mind. Send her in.
Now, hold it, Lancelot. I'll leave by the back entrance. I don't want to be dragged into one of your cases now. Aloha and hooray for Hollywood.
Well, don't let a talent scout see you. The movie industry is in enough trouble.
Yeah.
Come in, Miss Van Breck. I wish that I had met her 50 years ago. She must have been beautiful. Now she was an aging, ageless Titania, a silvering sprite, wrapped in bright green mink. She perched on the edge of a chair, bobbed her head at me like a parakeet about to give an esoteric performance. A tall, silent man in a chauffeur's uniform was with her. Well, Miss Van Breck.
It's Polly Smith. Paulette Van Breck is my pen name. My nom de plume, as it were.
You're a writer?
In a way, yes. Oh, this is Francis, my chauffeur. He follows me everywhere I go. I don't think he trusts me. I'm always flying off on little escapades, and he's... where was I? Oh, yes. I'm a writer. That is, I write letters to pen pals.
Pen pal?
All over the world. Darlings, all of them. That's why I'm here.
One of them didn't answer a letter.
Exactly. You're very intelligent, Matthew. I may use your first name, of course. Now, what do you think of that?
What do I think? Well, I think that
Jason has been killed, naturally. Oh, I knew this was the right detective, Francis. Now, why do you think Jason was murdered, Matthew?
someone didn't like him.
Amazing. Isn't he amazing, Francis? Who did it?
Now, I hate to admit this, Polly, but I haven't the slightest idea. Who is Jason?
Oh, you're not as bright as I thought you were.
Sorry.
Jason is Jason Castor. He's a talented young genius. A kindred soul. A poet. Here, his last letter to me speaks for itself.
She handed me a letter. The return address was Los Angeles. In 16 pages, the kindred soul repeated in iambic rhythm and using poetic license that the thing he had feared had happened. What did he mean by that, the thing that he feared?
Someone was going to kill him. That is, they hadn't yet, but he didn't say that. But that's what he meant. If you understand poetry at all, Matthew.
Jason isn't exactly Stephen Vincent Benet.
Oh, but he's close. I've written 6 letters since I received that one. He didn't answer any of them. Oh, I just know that something horrible has happened. Now, I want you to go to Los Angeles immediately. Rescue the poor boy and bring him back here.
Oh, now, wait a minute.
All righty. It's all settled. My lawyer, Nathan Gainsborough, will send you a check. I told him I was hiring you. Come, Francis. Goodbye, Matthew. You're a charming boy.
She pattered out with Francis while the charming boy detective wiped the egg off his face. Jonesy, get me Nathan Gainsborough on the phone.
All righty.
You know what happens to secretaries who listen to keyholes?
They write stories for confession magazines. And Nathan Gainsborough was already on the phone. He called you. Line 1.
Thanks. Hello, Mr. Gainsborough, Slade.
I presume our man gathered left?
Yeah, I think I've agreed to handle a case which I know nothing about, but I'm not sure.
Welcome to the club.
I'm not sure that I want to join.
Of course you do. It's profitable. Polly has $20 million, which I try to keep track of. It isn't easy. She likes to spread any other knew that she's Polly Smith, the eccentric millionaire, and not Paulette Van Brick, we'd be up to our dividends and marriage proposals and sad stories.
Oh, she has a big heart, huh?
But not a weak mind. She outsmarts me most of the time. Francis informed me of this Jason Castor business. All of the pen pals go through my office, but somehow she managed to keep him a secret.
You don't know anything about him?
No, nothing. Now, when you get to Los Angeles, check with Maggie Moore. She runs Pen Pals Incorporated. Polly gets all of them through Maggie. Is $1,000 all right for a retainer?
Oh, fine, but
I've sent it by messenger. How soon can you leave?
Oh, right away, but The receiver clicked in my ear. I had a definite feeling I was being pressured. I muttered to myself on the drive to Los Angeles, swearing to bring Jonesy into line and to not get roped in by anyone as far out as Polly again. It was almost 5 o'clock when I reached Los Angeles. I checked Jason Castor's address on the letter. It was in the valley. I turned onto the Hollywood freeway leading to the valley, planning to check out his address before dinner. Thousands of cars were headed toward the same destination, jammed together like sardines. The sardines all belonging to the same school of thought. Move and stop. Move and stop.
What in heaven's name, Matthew? I'm getting car sick. Where are we?
It was Polly. She popped her head over the back of my seat. I hit the bumper of the car in front of me and set off a chain reaction of cars bumping, jolting, and drivers waking up.
You are the worst driver I've ever seen, Matthew. Look what you've done.
Where did you...
Don't sputter, Matthew. Drive. I decided to come along and help.
And you've been in the back seat all this time.
Matthew, I didn't get $20 million by trusting people or fate.
She told me how she got her $20 million and how I could make the same amount if I stopped talking to myself and sharpened up during the hour and a half it took to go 2 miles on the freeway. Polly was a compulsive talker. My ears were ringing when we pulled up in front of a 3-story monstrosity, which Jason, fondly, I suppose, called home. It appeared to be deserted.
Oh, what charming isolation, Matthew. It looks just like Jason.
Vacant?
You're too sarcastic to be so young, Matthew. It's the inner world which is important.
I can't say much for Jason's outer world. Now, you stay here.
Really, Matthew.
Or I'll quit. I walked through waist-high grass, expecting Livingston to show up any minute. The house towered above me, its paint peeling and cracking. The broken panes in the windows made it appear drunk. I wouldn't have been surprised had it given a giant hiccup and tumbled into oblivion. I stumbled on a broken step, then knocked rather inanely on the front door. And the door fell in. So I went inside. The house was dark, dusty, empty. If I'd had the sense Polly said I should have, I would have been cautious. I wasn't. Someone hit me from behind, and I joined the door on a red velvet carpet. I was stunned, but not out. I heard someone run past me and up a staircase to the second floor. I got to my feet and ran after him. I knew that whoever it was had hurt me, but they were acquainted with the house, and I wasn't. I stopped on the open balcony, then heard a sound. It came from behind a closed door. I went toward it, jerked the door open, and...
Matthew, are you trying to frighten me to death? Don't open a door like that.
Polly, what are you doing in a closet?
Hiding. I came in the back way, and then I heard...
Did you hit me on the back of the head?
What did I do there?
I don't know. I just had to ask. Now, how did you get up here without my seeing you?
There's a back stairway.
Now, that's how he got away.
Ooh.
Okay, you kids, get out of here. You're trespassing. Kids, nothing else to do than drive me crazy. Breaking windows, tearing up... Well, mister, aren't you a little old for this type of thing? You and your mother get out of here.
I am not his mother.
Sorry, we were looking for someone.
In the closet?
I was hiding in the closet.
Okay, out.
Now, just a minute. Who owns this property?
The city. And they're going to tear it down.
When?
Any minute.
Thank you. Sorry we bothered you. I thanked him and propelled the protesting Polly down the stairs and into the car. I would have to go back after dark. But after I got Polly out of my hair.
Where are we going, Matthew?
You are going to San Francisco. I am going to stay here. She exploded and kept it up all the way to International Airport. Between explosions and persuasions, I managed to find out that she didn't have a picture of Jason, but that he was about 25, tall, blonde, and that Maggie Moore of Pen Pals Incorporated had recommended him. I saw Polly safely aboard a plane for San Francisco, and then in the terminal spotted that happy tourist, Sid Dinelli. Well, hello, Sid. Welcome to paradise.
Oh, no. What are you doing here?
On a case. Aren't you a little late arriving? What'd you do, walk?
I hate comics. I missed my plane, Matt. Then I got airsick and...
And the stewardess didn't like you.
Yeah.
You want to ride into town?
You're working on a case? No, just go away.
All right, take the bus.
Matt, wait a minute. You know how I feel about the bus.
I drove Sid into town and dropped him at the Grayson Hotel. Promised to meet him later for a drink at the Shea on the Strip. Then I looked up the address of Pen Pals Incorporated. It was about a 10-minute drive.
Mr. Slade, please come in. I've been expecting you.
She may have been expecting me, but I wasn't expecting her. I had visualized her as the horn rim, hair in a bun type. She wasn't. Gainsborough called you about Jason Castor, huh?
Yes. I have no record of him at all. I checked the files. Nothing. I don't know how he got Polly's name.
Well, then you know that Paulette Van Breck is Polly Smith.
Of course. But none of the pen pals do.
Polly said that you recommended Jason. You didn't.
No.
Does anyone have access to your file?
No. But there is no information about Polly Smith in them. She's listed as, Paulette Van Breck. Occupation, writer. Interested in reading, cooking, horseback riding. Collects modern poetry.
A well-rounded pen pal with no money.
Exactly. Well, where do we go from here?
We go to meet a friend, Sid Vanilli. The Shea was crowded, but not so crowded that I couldn't spot Sid. He was leaning over the bar, murmuring to the bartender. Maggie and I went toward him. Hello, Sid.
Matt, you know, I may get thrown off the force, but I'm going to kill you. Oh, I'm sorry. I really am a gentleman,
Miss Moore, Maggie Moore.
Oh, delighted, Maggie. I may be the most interesting man you've ever met. Maggie. A bartender, champagne for this lady. And what are you buying for yourself, Matt?
Hemlock, on the rocks. What have I done now?
Over there, in the corner booth. Does that belong to you?
It was Polly. She waved a Mai Tai at me. I groaned.
Hey, Maggie, there's a secluded booth.
Oh, no, you don't, Sid. Come on, Maggie. Well, Polly, we didn't stay on the plane to San Francisco, did we?
No, Matthew, we didn't. Have a Mai Tai?
No, thanks. Are you in the back of the car again?
Oh, I never repeat myself, Matthew. I followed you in a taxi, paid the doorman to find out where you were going to meet Sid, and here I am.
Since you are, this is Maggie Moore. She's never heard of Jason Castor. Now, where did you get his name?
Really, Maggie, how strange. Don't you think that's strange, Sid?
Oh, I never heard of him either.
Well, you have now.
Oh, no.
When did Jason start writing to you, Polly? How did he get your name?
One question at a time, Matthew. About a year ago, I think. Oh, he's such a poor lost soul. No family, and no one to...
Polly.
Well, Maggie recommended him.
You're lying.
Yes.
Now, go on. With the truth?
I met him at the racetrack. No, that was Alan Dulles. Oh, in an art gallery. An exhibit by an extremely talented artist. Selma something. I forget her last name. Jason was alone in San Francisco. He was coming back to Los Angeles the next day. I told him to write to me.
Did you give him your real name?
Certainly not.
Your home address?
No. I used a box number. And I didn't send him any money.
You didn't. Well, all right. How'd he make a living?
His poetry.
Poets don't make money. They either marry it or teach English. Now, what was he doing in the art gallery?
Well, he was just there. What are his hobbies, Polly? Sports, dancing, music? Well, music. Jazz music. He liked jazz, but he couldn't afford to buy records.
You afford to listen? Did he hang out in any of those record stores?
Well, yes. He mentioned one in one of his poems. Now, what was the name? The Square Place.
The Square Place?
Well, that's in Hollywood, Matt. And it is the place for jazz buffs.
Well, let's go. Wait, not you, Sid. You take care of Polly. Maggie and I will be right back.
Oh, Matt, don't do this. Matt.
I had a hunch that Jason did know who Polly was, and that the character he had built in his letters was a come-on. Maggie and I arrived at the Square Place. The place was filled with kids and sound. Someone pointed out the manager. I'd like to talk to you. You're the manager, right?
The owner, man, the owner. Oh, listen to that horn, man. Oh, sweet.
Yeah.
Okay, man, speak.
I'm looking for Jason Castor.
Never heard of him. With a fuzz?
No. He's tall, blonde, about 25.
25? You got the wrong place, Pops. Nobody over 18 in here. Kids, just kids. Oh, wait a minute, man. You know he's fading in. Yeah, we called him Jason the Argonaut.
Where can I find him?
Who knows? In the Dead Sea, maybe. Oh, I chased him out of here a couple of weeks ago. Oh, listen, fan club, that one's like eerie. I mean, I turned him out like he was never part of the scene.
Well, he's part of the scene now. What do you remember about him?
Oh, a poet, he said, but no gift. You know, no dum-de-dum-dum, you know?
He's dangerous.
Oh, yeah. Right. You know, one of those who wait in the dark.
One of those who wait in the dark. I did know. Flam didn't recall anything else about Jason except that he had, in Flam's words, latched on to the painter who had done the murals for the square place. The painter was a woman. Her name was Selma. Flam gave me her address, and Maggie and I drove through the Hollywood Hills to what looked like an eagle's nest. The door was open, so we went in.
Who are you?
I'm Matt Slade. This is Maggie Moore.
You look well together. Would you like a drink?
Do you know Jason Tapser?
Oh, I just wasted 2 ounces of good scotch.
You know him. And?
And he's not like anyone I've ever met. Are you police?
Private investigator.
Has he killed someone?
No, why?
Intuition. It might have been me. But the little painter didn't have enough money for Jason. Thank heaven.
You held an exhibit in San Francisco last year. Did you introduce Jason to anyone there?
Yes. A charming but perfectly wild woman named,
Paulette Van Breck?
No, Polly Smith. One night I came home with friends. Jason was here. He had painted his face with fluorescent paint, a death mask. A grotesque, bleeding death mask. When he saw us, he ran. That was a week ago. I haven't seen him since.
Thanks for your help. You locked the door after us.
Double bolt, lock, chain, and chair.
Maggie, Polly is in this up to her beneficiary.
You think that she put Jason in her will?
She's made some provision for him, or he thinks she has.
He's going to kill Polly.
He's going to try. Slide in. I'll take you home. It is a good night for Girl Scouts to go home and catch up on their arts and crafts.
You would make a great grandmother.
We started down the hill. The street was steep, narrow, winding, filled with blind curves.
If you hadn't passed your driver's test in San Francisco, I'd walk.
Not as bad as it sounds.
It's worse. That car behind us.
Yeah, I see it.
Oh, he's too close. What is he trying to do?
He's trying to beat us down the hill.
See that we don't get down.
Stop thinking and make sure your seatbelt is fastened.
Matt, he's trying to hit us. His face. The death mask.
Yeah, I saw it. Get down. Here he comes again.
Why did he pass us?
Either to wait for us or to get us to follow him.
Well, follow him.
Maggie, he thinks that you're Polly. But do exactly what I tell you. Maggie promised that she would. But women promise one thing and mean another. We drove up in front of the house. There was no sign of Jason, but I knew that he was watching us from somewhere in the dark.
But, Mr. Slade, I know that Jason wouldn't hurt anyone. He's a dear, dear boy.
I murmured something, covering in response, as Maggie ducked down into the shadows, preparing to run back to the car. Then...
Matthew.
It was Polly. I looked, but couldn't see her.
Under the front steps.
I grabbed Maggie, pulled her off the porch. Polly, what in blazes are...
Now, Matthew, don't blame Mr. Donnelly for this.
Sid, where is he?
He's inside the house. He ran in a few minutes ago. Oh, there was a terrible noise, and then you came. I'm so afraid that he might hurt Jason.
Well, that's not what I'm afraid of. All right, Maggie, stay with her. Now, can you shoot a gun?
I think so.
Here, take this. If he comes out, if you hear him, shoot. I started up the steps, caught my heel in the broken one, cursed silently, and went inside. There was a sound. I turned quickly. Sid, are you okay?
Great, I got a broken leg, man. He hit me with something as I started up the stairs, and I fell.
Well, where's your gun?
He's got it. You don't have one?
I gave it to Maggie. Where is he?
He's upstairs. I just saw his face. That paint glows. Hey, look. If I can close that front door and get out, I can get the gun from Maggie.
Okay. But let me cover.
Okay.
Now, Sid, go. Jason!
He's up there. I can see him.
You okay?
Yeah, I'm okay. Will you get out of the light?
Bullets thudded into the wall and into the floor around Sid. I started to move, but not quickly enough. A noose snaked down from the balcony and caught me about the throat. I managed to get a hold of the rope. I looked up and saw Jason. The rope was wrapped around the balcony railing, the other end tied to his waist. He jumped to the railing. I held on. He jerked at the rope, trying to break my hold. I clawed hand over hand, gained a few inches. He was ready to jump. I knew that when he did, Matt Slade would be dead.
You, on the balcony. I have a gun. Don't move.
He jumped, and Sid fired. I swung like a pendulum, still holding on. The rope snapped. His body hit the floor, and I fell.
Matt, are you all right?
Yeah, get this noose off me. I didn't have too far to fall.
What happened? Shots. What happened, Matthew?
Got to my feet. Moved to Jason. Bent over him.
Oh, Matthew. You've killed my pen pal.
I hadn't killed Jason. I'd come as close to killing him as he had to killing me. The score was even. Maggie went to call the police and ambulance for Sid, as Jason tried to convince Polly that he was just a little different from most pen pals. I agreed with that. I didn't agree that he wasn't trying to kill her. Polly was very sympathetic. She would still leave Jason her collection of modern poetry, which was what she had intended to will to him, not part of her fortune, as he had thought. Jason would have to learn to read between the lines of her letters for the real meaning. Jason was going to have enough trouble reading between the bars of his cell. The police and ambulance arrived. Jason and Sid were taken away as the caretaker stormed in with a demolition crew. I tried to explain, was ordered out, and fell down the front steps, which were no longer there. The crew had removed them. The next few weeks I spent with Sid in the hospital, in traction. I had gained not only a broken ankle, but a pen pal. Polly wrote to me every day.
This is the United States Armed Forces Radio and Television Service.